Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for coming. We're sorry we couldn't be with you in person today, but we look forward to seeing you at the next event in your area. I'm Emily Symmes. I'm the Senior Manager of Technical Field Services for Suterra, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the different mating disruption solutions that Suterra offers for California specialty crops, with an emphasis on a few of the key systems in your area: nut crops, vines, and citrus. Before we dive into those specifically, I'd like to give a bit of an overview of the various mating disruption types of products and different pest and cropping systems that Suterra offers solutions for. We have 3 different types of products, or what I often call platforms or delivery systems, and these are optimized to be designed to fit the specific pest and cropping system. So we don't offer all 3 types of products necessarily for all types of pests, and that's by design. We suit each type of product to fit the specific pest and, again, the cropping system. So we have a number of different products, many of which you see are labeled for organic production. All are made in the United States of America. Today, I'm going to focus first on vine mealybug. We have dispensers and flowables for the grape cropping systems. Then we'll talk about California red scale. We have dispensers for citrus crops, and finish with navel orangeworm. We all know navel orangeworm is a primary pest in the nut cropping system, and we have puffers and flowable platforms available for navel orangeworm. So before we dive into product specifics, we always just like give you a brief reminder overview of what is mating disruption. It is not an insecticide. It's a technology that modifies insect behavior. So in the cases of the pests that we're covering today, males use sex pheromones that are emitted by the female to locate the female and facilitate mating. What our products do is disperse species-specific female pheromones into the orchard or vineyard environment, and this confuses the male pests. They're unable to locate the females. We get delayed mating, reduced mating, and ultimately reduced pest population and crop damage. We also like to think of mating disruption within the context of the broader IPM system, and you've seen various iterations of this IPM pyramid, I'm sure, over the years from many different resources. What we really do think about, though, when it comes to our mating disruption products is this baseline bottom layer of the IPM pyramid, which is prevention. What pheromones do and mating disruption does is prevent significant portions of the pest population from ever existing. What does this mean? It means that each of these additional tactics that you layer on, whether it's cultural, physical, biological, and chemical, are all going to be that much more effective and get you that much more bang for your buck, simply because there's fewer pests to kill to begin with. So let's move right into the first cropping system and pests that we'll cover today in this label update. Vine mealybug, as we know, is a severe pest in grape cropping systems. Not only does it do direct damage infesting the berry clusters, but it is a very efficient vector of the grapevine leaf roll associated viruses, which there is no cure for, and leads to early vine death, essentially. So we have 2 very successful products for these. They've been on the market for many years now. We've got our CheckMate VMB-XL. This is what we call our dispenser platform. It's basically a product that has 3 layers that are specifically designed to provide longevity of the product and a very precise controlled release delivery profile. We also have our CheckMate VMB-F, or flowable. This is the microencapsulated formulation that we'll go into a little bit more detail on in subsequent slides of each of these. The CheckMate VMB-XL dispensers are OMRI listed for use in organic systems. When it comes to CheckMate VMB flowable, there is no OMRI label, but you may be encouraged to check with your certifier. So how do the dispensers work? This is a vapor dispenser technology. Again, on the previous slide, you saw that there's an internal layer that is impregnated with pheromone. Then the black layer that you see there is a permeable layer, and then there's an impermeable outer layer. And these are, again, specifically designed with the release rate profile of that pheromone molecule in mind. So these release 24/7. They provide season-long protection and have the most consistent pheromone release profile and are the longest acting dispenser on the market. And this is based specifically on chemical analysis of the actual pheromone active ingredient release profile and longevity, not just weight of the dispenser. The label rate is 250 dispensers per acre. They come in buckets for easy deployment, and one bucket will cover 4 acres in deployment. There is no reentry interval, no pre-harvest interval, and as a pheromone, it is MRL exempt. With all of our pheromone products, pesticide use reports are required. The goal in dispensing these dispensers within the vineyard is to get even spacing at the recommended rate of roughly 250 per acre. Goal is, again, uniform distribution, and your vine by row spacing is going to help you determine the hang pattern when you're deploying these. Suterra has folks on the ground that can come help you design the best pattern for your vineyard. All we need is an overview of the row and vine spacing of your vineyards. We recommend placing these on the shady side, on cordon wires, or at the bases of canes. Our Vine Mealybug flowable product, again, this is a micro encapsulated formulation. It's actually really high tech what goes into these, because what has to happen with these micro encapsulated pheromone formulations is this sort of outer shell that both protects the pheromone active ingredient inside, but is specifically engineered to slowly release that pheromone, again, consistently over a period of time in the field. The application rate on the label is 0.9 to 1.8 fluid ounces per acre. Most folks stick right around that 0.9 fluid ounces. All of our efficacy data is at that lower end of the rate. So one bottle will cover 30 acres of vineyard. Again, these are like microscopic dispensers, essentially. So they release 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with an up to 30-day field life. There is a 4-hour re-entry interval with the sprayable formulation, but again, no pre-harvest interval and MRL exempt. Again, pesticide use report is required. And what the flowables really allow are for these flexible use patterns. We've got lots of growers that use these in different ways, but because they're so readily tank mixable with the common agrochemicals, we're able to tank mix these when we're out doing sprays for other types of things like powdery mildew. If you are applying it as a standalone, you can actually go much lower water volumes and higher speeds, because coverage is not critical with a microencapsulated pheromone in the way that it is with something like a contact insecticide or those types of things. We also have people using very conventional types of application equipment to more novel types of application equipment like drone applications. So switching gears to California red scale. Again, this is a cosmetic pest, but high enough densities can lead to plant health decline. Biggest issue here is downgrades at the packing house and economic damage. Product we have available for California red scale in citrus is a dispenser. The design is similar to the Vine Mealybug dispenser that you just saw. Again, releases 24/7. And with these, we have tested these in multiple climates throughout the globe, many years, and we get at least a full 365 days of coverage out of this particular type of pheromone and dispenser. The rate is 180 per acre, so one bucket will treat just over 5.5 acres, similar to the other dispensers, no reentry interval, pre-harvest interval, or MRL considerations. Most folks deploy in the spring before the onset of the first flight or second flight and after pruning. Because these dispensers last a full calendar year or more, deployment timing is really quite flexible. We do often recommend that if you are going to be pruning, to either deploy after pruning to make sure they're not pruned off, or just be very conscientious about pruning and not pruning any of your dispensers off. These should be placed inside the canopy at mid-height on a sturdy branch, roughly thumb-sized or so. And again, just like in the vines, the orchard spacing determines your hang pattern, so your tree by row spacing, and we're able to help you map that. We have some resources online as well that have patterns for most of the common orchard arrangements. Okay, finally, everyone's kind of favorite if they grow nut crops or nemesis, so to speak, navel orangeworm. We've got 2 different types of puffers available for navel orangeworm, as well as a flowable. Our CheckMate Puffer Now Ace is for conventional production, and our CheckMate puffer now O for organic ACE is for organic production. Each of these goes out at a rate of 1 unit per acre. They provide season-long, consistent, and precise release rates, metered doses of the absolute optimized, research-validated amount of pheromone go out every single puff, all evening long, all season long. Again, no re-entry interval, pre-harvest interval, or MRL considerations, and pesticide use reports are required. For the conventional now ACE, we offer free recycling at the grower's convenience through our Clean Orchard Promise program. This ensures that there's no waste going into the landfills and that all of the electronics are properly recycled and or disposed of. And with the organic ACE that is currently still available in our full cabinet, we have a refurbishment program where these are shipped back to Suterra at the grower's convenience for refurbishment and to also ensure that there's no waste going into the landfills. Very generally, how do we deploy puffers? We hang these in the top half of the tree canopy. Again, the ideal is an even grid pattern distributed throughout your orchard. Puffers should aim away from the trunk or foliage or nuts to ensure those emissions are properly getting out. We use specialized poles, but most folks use a PVC with a modified tip to hang these. It's very, very easy and very quick at 1 unit per acre. We do have mapping available to help you map your specific orchard to get the 1 unit per acre spacing. And we do have deployment training available where a team can come out and help you kind of some tips and tricks on how to maximize efficiencies when hanging puffers. Our NOW flowable, again, this is a microencapsulated technology similar to the vine mealybug flowable, but with the navel orangeworm pheromone or active ingredient inside. The label rate is 3 fluid ounces per acre per application, 1 bottle treating 10 acres with an up to 30-day field life. Like the other flowables, there is a 4-hour reentry interval, but no pre-harvest interval, and is MRL exempt with pesticide use reports required. Again, one of the beauties of the flowable type materials is you can be a bit more reactive in your approach to mating disruption, spraying kind of when needed, where needed, and how many times needed. So it allows for a lot of that flexibility. Again, very tank mixable with most of the common agrochemicals. When tank mixed, you want to go at the right speed and volume for whatever it's being mixed with. But if it is standalone, we can get this out at a much lower rate. Again, we just want an even distribution of these microcapsules in an orchard or vineyard, but we can go at higher speeds, lower volumes if we just have flowable alone in the tank. And we've had lots of folks with great success in the nut crops, even doing ultra low volume type of applications. And finally, I just would like to invite you all to visit our website. We've done a lot of work on this website, providing a lot of educational materials on our products, on the types of pests that we have products for, and just general learning. We've got some webinar databases, blogs, and things like that. So please do visit us at suterra.com. This will also allow you to contact us for any of your field-based resources that you might need from any member of our team here in California. With that, I would like to say thank you. And again, we'll look forward to seeing you in person, getting to field some questions and visit with you next time. Thank you.